Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to a special Allot webinar, and it's dedicated this time to the unusual challenges facing communication service providers during these difficult coronavirus times during this pandemic. Before we get started, let me just take the opportunity to wish you all well. And my name is Michael Schachter. Some of us have probably met on previous webinars. I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager at Allot. And as you all know, and as every one of your customers knows, the basic broadband connectivity that you provide has never been more important and more challenging for you to provide. I'm hosting this from home. I'm sure many of you are joining us from your work-from-home offices as well. I think this is the most and earliest, largest group of attendees that I saw already at 15 minutes before the hour. And I think we're basically all fortunate that we're involved in the communications ecosystem because it feels really important today. And that's for remote work, for remote learning, entertainment, and more. And, you can keep track of our thoughts on the subject at the Allot website, where we have our blog section that you can read from, but also within the general website. And you can see how we're helping you to keep up with the impact of coronavirus on bandwidth demand. In today's webinar, Treger, our Senior Product Manager at Allot, will drill down into these challenges, and he'll explain how our DPI-powered Allot Smart Solutions give you both the traffic visibility and the management tools to prioritize specific traffic categories to make sure that your customers get the service they need during these times, and to do it by automatically and policy-based optimization services, which will improve and sustain service quality and end-user quality of experience according to your company policies and where it's most critical for your end users. And finally, it's worth saying to the end of the session, we'll be joined by Peleg Ehrlich, our AVP of Global Pre-Sales, and he's going to present some special offers that the company has put together that we've kind of crafted for this difficult period to help both our existing customers but also our prospective customers to weather this storm of traffic management that we're all fighting to keep our heads over water with. And as I'm sure you all know by now, Allot is one of the world's leading providers of innovative solutions, both for network intelligence and for security as a service solution for service providers and also for the enterprise market worldwide. This particular presentation will be focused on the service provider network intelligence side of our solutions, but security is also quite important today because we have to keep our customers secure at home as well. This first slide just gives you a little bit of an overview about the company. As I said, we're in the communication service provider and enterprise markets. We've got hundreds of CSPs and thousands of enterprise customers. It's a very solid financial company, and our sales continue to do well during this difficult period. So we're a provider that you can trust with over 20 years of experience with these solutions. The next slide just gives you, a bird's eye view of some of our top tier 1 customers around the world. Again, not to go into details, just to give you the sense that we're a provider, a vendor with worldwide experience and top of the market ability to scale and to provide powerful solutions. So I've introduced us. I'd like to just get a sense of who you all are. So we'll have a number of poll questions during this presentation. And in general, some tips about what you see on your screen. The webinar is being recorded, so you can come back to it to hear the recorded version, and you can also share that with a link to colleagues who weren't able to join. You'll be able to send questions in the Q&A window on the left of your screen. At the bottom of the screen, there are some link widgets which have some URLs that may be helpful with additional information for you. And there's one URL in case some of you are the final question on this poll, enterprise and not CSP. If you'd rather join the enterprise-oriented presentation, which will be in an hour's time or in 55 minutes from now. So you can find that link at the bottom. And on the right, if you've got additional get in touch kind of questions that you want to send to us, I encourage you to use that window. Type your question or your comment there, and then click send. Otherwise, we just get an empty email. So again, here's a question for you. Who are you? Are you fixed, mobile, converged, enterprise that sells to CSPs, or enterprise not CSPs? And then you might want to join the later presentation. And so let's see who you are. We'll go to the next window, and you are mostly enterprise that sells to CSP, so hopefully a lot of you are our partners, and some of you would like to be our partners. And we have a sprinkling of fixed, mixed, mobile, and converge as well. And again, I see about a third are enterprise, not CSPs. You're welcome to stay on, and you're welcome to opt for the link at the bottom and go to the enterprise version of this presentation that starts in 55 minutes. And now I'll turn the presentation over to my colleague, Gal, who will take you through, wait, one more question. Within those different industries, what is your role? So engineering, marketing, operations, security, or other, just to give us and Gal specifically a sense of who he's talking to, it'll be helpful if you can point that out for us. Okay, thank you very much, and let's see who you all are. Okay, mostly security and a good smattering of engineering as well. So very good, and now in fact, I will turn this over to Gal. So Gal, it's your ball.
Thank you, Michael. Everyone, welcome. As this webinar will focus on the new challenges that are raised by the COVID. To understand what is going on in the internet, let's see some trends around the world. So these examples are from fixed and mobile networks from APAC. In the right side, you can see two fixed operators, and on the left, two mobile operators. The graph shows the percentage increase starting from where we could see a non-linear growth. As we could assume, the fixed network growth is larger than the mobile network, but in both, it's pretty significant. If you look on the upper right graph, you could see that in the highest peak, it increased over 100% in the peak. Sorry, it seems that the presentation jumped. Yeah. This happened immediately after the lockdown started, the right up one that we see. Then it sustained a 50% increase because traffic management was applied. Interest increase we saw in many CSPs for PlayStation Store. For instance, in one of the CSPs, it achieved a peak of almost 600% increase while consuming large capacity of the network. As you know, PlayStation 4 games, including the updates, can be more than 50. So in case of self-promotion or a lockdown, or in this case, we're talking about a combination of the two, it can create huge amount of downloading traffic in the network. The percentage that you see within the graph refers to the weight of the PlayStation Store out of the total traffic. You need to consider that the total traffic increased drastically as well, so 15%, it's pretty significant just for PlayStation downloads. Afterwards, you can see that enforcement was enabled for PlayStation Store, followed by additional limits by Sony servers. That's the reason that you see a continuous decrease. And applications that are used for remote learning and work from home, like Zoom, shows drastic usage increase. The bandwidth requirement might not be a major concern for the operator, but it shows the importance and the need of these applications. Zoom, for example, changed from being a niche app to commonly used app that people depend on it for education, work, or simply to meet their friends. I'm sure that all of you probably use it now, but not necessarily use it before. That's why a subscriber will probably judge their network by the experience they get from this app, like Zoom. Of course, like Skype and Teams and so on. To summarize, CSPs need to deal with unprecedented traffic growth, as well with change of application usage pattern and their importance for the customers, and all of this kind of overnight. There are also reports of high security threats, like hundreds of new domains related to COVID-19 that are used for phishing and other illegal activities. Michael, there is another poll question here.
Yeah, so we have another poll question, and I just want to also touch on something that Gal mentioned at the end of the previous slide, and that is the security side. We're not dealing with that in this webinar, but we have had some presentations around the security issues, and we have another one coming just next week, and it's all about how you secure your connected devices from your home. At your home, and so that's a very relevant topic for today and with the COVID-19 growth in threats. And that's for the CSP to sell solutions that they can administer from the network to protect their customers at home. And so we are curious to hear from you what kind of bandwidth increase you're seeing in your networks. This could be enterprise networks or service provider networks. Just as a comparison to some of the numbers that Gal showed you from around the world. 10 to 20%, all the way up to 40% and more. Okay. Okay, so it's a whole range, including not an insubstantial 40% or more. So I think that's, it's no secret that demand is outstripping capacity in some cases, but certainly growing, and that's impacting everybody's quality of experience. We know all about Netflix and YouTube lowering the quality of their high definition so that there's room for other applications such as Zoom. It's a real issue out there in the world. And what we'd like to then ask as a follow-up is how your organization is handling the sudden increase. Among options such as limiting the bandwidth to specific subscribers or to all subscribers, or limiting specific applications bandwidth, which could be blocking things like file transfer or lowering their bandwidth. It could be deploying more network resources. Maybe you're scrambling to lay out more, be it antennas or base stations or cable or whatever. And it could be something else altogether. So it would be interesting to hear from you what approaches you're taking. So limiting application bandwidth is quite prevalent, and so is deploying more network resources, and so is other kinds of limitations, subscribers or other actions. And I think some people's experience is that networks are just slowing down, and so some traffic is getting dropped or access is not happening. There's a huge demand out there, and now Gal is going to drill down into the different techniques that are available and that you can bring to bear with our solutions.
Thanks, Michael. So after we've seen the trends, let's see how to keep the things under control. So I will try to answer on questions that we believe CSPs are interested now, such as how to handle unexpected traffic growth, or is there any other solution than expanding drastically the network capacity that might not be possible to do that fast, and how to assure good access for work from home, education, and government-related services now. So Allot traffic management solution consists of 3 layers. The first one is network-based policies to actions that requires only user plan integration, basically only deploying our box on the links. The second layer is subscriber and location awareness that enables more accurate and efficient control. And the third is dynamic congestion management that uses intelligent to react only when congestion occurs. So the first stage solution we advise for the current situation consists of network-based policies combined with subscriber and location awareness capabilities. This can be split into two steps to speed up the deployment time. This first to deploy and can give immediate relief for the sudden traffic increase. I will start by elaborating about the network-based policies. Using network-based policies, we can achieve different targets of savings on the goal of the provider. By limiting during business hours peer-to-peer, file transfer, and updates, for example, we can achieve between 4 to 8% of bandwidth saving. And when adding to it moderate control for streaming and gaming services especially, 10 to 20% and even up to 30% depend on the aggressiveness of the control. But when we are talking about the range of 30%, we need to consider the effect on the subscriber experience. To support work from home and remote learning, which is very important now, we can guarantee sufficient resources for critical applications like Zoom, Teams, web browsing, and so on. And for the rest of the applications, we can enforce fairness between subscribers. Like this, we can protect from some subscribers to abuse network resources while not leaving enough for others. The policy can be enabled based on time of day and adapted in different hours for different levels of control. Now, together with the network-based policy, in the first stage solution, we subscriber and location awareness. So using subscriber awareness, we can assure that critical applications for each sector will be prioritized and grant different bandwidth allowance based on the tier of the subscriber, if it's business, if it's a normal consumer, and so on. Additionally, with location awareness, we can directly control the congested element, avoiding affecting other subscribers that are not in the congested areas or congested elements in the network. So we want basically to target only where we have the problems. We can also identify heavy users and enforce them more than the common subscribers, only when it's needed. So basically it provides much more flexibility and granularity to control and analyze the traffic. And then we have dynamic congestion management, which is not a part of the first stage kit as activation time is longer, but it can be added as later phase and improve the solution. Allot solution allows to identify congestion network elements. For instance, DSAM in fixed or in or B sector in mobile. In fixed, the solution tracks network APIs and identifies the available capacity for each element. Therefore, it acts only during congestion and forcing only improve the experience of the subscriber. And if we're talking about mobile network, is congestion in the radio, where it's the actual problem in the mobile network, it's highly complex to identify. Therefore, we are using different intelligent methods to do. So we have two different solutions for that. The first is our run congestion management, where we use machine learning capabilities to identify the congestion in real time. And the second is our TDF solution that can enable application-based scheduling using dedicated bearers in the radio, allowing to prioritize specific application traffic where the congestion occurs. So, for example, like VoLTE can be prioritized in a certain way with dedicated bearers in the radio. So we can enable that also and Zoom and assure the experience for this. And that's one of those topics right now, but it's a whole subject by itself. So I invite those of you that are interested to contact us about it. Michael, we have another poll question.
Yeah, so another poll question, and Gal showed you a number of different methods that can be applied using our inline DPI to give you visibility and then very granular control over different kinds of traffic, whether it's file transfer, gaming, etc. We're curious to hear from you in this sort of new reality that we're all dealing with. Which application category is most important that you are able to assure it for your customers, today with everything that's going on? And so we gave you here a number of things to choose from, and it's just, just interesting, almost anecdotally, to see how this breaks down. A few months ago, I did a quality of experience market survey, and surprisingly to me at the time, what came out first was web browsing. And I was sure it was going to be video streaming, but in fact, just the basic ability to go from website to website, shopping, or following sports, which is no longer much of an option. It was web browsing was still the #1 issue. And so we will see now what today's attendees consider it. Working from home, okay? And I think probably everybody on this call just about is in that category, and so it's no secret that that's a huge issue for everybody today. Okay, thank you for that one. And now let's go on to hear a little bit more about the visibility side of this.
Thank you, Michael. So to understand how to apply accurate enforcement and monitoring its effectiveness after it's applied, Allot Clear CBI is enabled to drill down into applications QoE, subscriber, and network behavior. This is a very powerful tool that can help you to improve the result. So basically, you don't want to play blindly. You want to be aware where are the problems in your network, what type of problems you have, where subscribers are suffering, and then to apply the policy. After you apply the policy, you can monitor it and adapt it to the best. And And to save even more, we can prevent volumetric DDoS attacks. These attacks generate between 3 to 5% of the traffic in the network, and even more during massive attacks. Using DDoS Secure, a feature that can be enabled as part of Allot Service Gateway, this traffic can be saved very easily. Allot can national policies that can be particularly help during these times for your subscribers, for your customers. So, for example, Allot can enable parents to limit non-education related applications, preventing interruptions for social media and streaming applications during school hours, for example. By this, allowing the kids to concentrate in the schooling activities. This is a service that the CSP can actually offer and enable from the network itself, allowing parents to control the hours and the application that should be allowed using basically a smart portal or an application that's provided by the operator. And another use case that we see that we actually deployed during the last few weeks is that it can help to bridge social economic gaps, basically, by making remote learning applications free of charge during schooling hours. With this, we can be sure that every kid has access to education in this complicated time. This will enable using application-based charging that allows to charge differently each application. So basically, you don't have to look in all your application like the same thing and redact it from the data plan of the customer. You can actually zero rate some of these applications. So that was Peleg, now you can take the lead from the sales side. Sorry, Michael.
Thank you, Gal.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, give us one moment, please.
Hi, everyone. Sorry. Just to go a couple of points of summary before Peleg presents our special offering. As we heard from Gal, and as you all know from your own experience and from reading the news, it's crazy. I mean, data communication is really at the heart of most of what all of us are doing all day long. And that's, I think, different than, substantially different, dramatically different. We saw some of those numbers. But the message that we're bringing to you today is that you can effectively manage the demand by prioritizing and by having the visibility and the tools to implement the policies that you want to provide and to assure that your customers are able to enjoy. And I think the last one that Gal mentioned about making sure that everybody can afford, for their kids to be online learning, to have the Zoom or whatever application it is certainly a different kind of look at business than we're used to. So you can prioritize, you can ensure fair usage so that the gamers and the downloaders and the streamers are not taking over all of your bandwidth. And we can help you with this. We have helped, and we've got use cases and customer stories where we have helped people or service providers defer capacity expansion in normal times by, a year and a half. And so there's a lot of solutions here. We can help, and we're available to help. And Peleg, our AVP of Global Pre-Sales, will present this offering now, which is for both new and existing customers. So I will advance the slides, and Peleg, you're on.
Thank you, Michael. So just for everyone, just to wrapping up what Gal has presented and Michael, so I just want to share with you what Allot is offering in this very harsh time. So basically what Allot has to offer, one for existing customers and the other one is for the new customers. For both of this, in any of the cases, Allot's offering at least 2 unlimited free license. This is for 2 months. For the new customers, we're talking about from the time that the solution has been deployed on site. Basically, what we see we only ask customers to pay for the hardware cost and professional services, and everything else is free, including the support and consulting. For our existing customers, again, we're also offering a free license for expansion. That also include the DDoS services that can free up to 3 or 5% of the network in case of a short DDoS attacks, 1 to 5 minute attacks, so we can help with that. And offer for existing customers a free consulting services, of course, and a follow-up monitoring on the services, checking or they remotely connected from remote to verify any issue or any changes. I think saying that this is what we thought can be best suit both our existing customers as well as new customers. But again, we are very flexible for any offers or any comments from customers. If there are any other ways that we can help and suggest, so we're more than happy to get some feedback as well. That's basically what I would like to sum up as our offering for this COVID-19 days and the impact on the network.
Okay. Thank you, Peleg, and thank you, Gal, and thank you all for listening in. Bear with me for a few minutes, and we'll try to answer some of the Q&A questions. As I mentioned at the beginning, we have another presentation that is about to start, which is more enterprise focused. And there's a link in one of the URLs at the bottom, so you can quickly join that if you're more of an enterprise-oriented account. And we encourage you to get in touch, to visit our website, to read the linked material, because we have, as Gal mentioned already, been deploying some of these fine-tuned solutions to existing customers and helping them with this offering. And we're getting a lot of calls from new prospects. Everyone is in this boat together, and we do have solutions that are time tested up to tier 1 capacity. So please don't hesitate to get in touch, and we're happy to help you. And as I said, next week we have a dedicated webinar around the topic of securing your home connected devices, everything that's on your home network behind your home router. And security is in fact another painful topic that the coronavirus has exacerbated, because there's all kinds of evil people out there using this as a lure to get people to phishing sites and to download all kinds of harmful malware. So thank you again, everybody, and stay safe, and look forward to hearing from you for follow-up or in subsequent webinars. Thank you, Gal. Thank you, Peleg. Thank you all, and goodbye.